Tonight on Road Madness, Busted. In a police special, we look at drivers that have been caught on truck camera and prosecuted for their dangerous driving. And some near-death experiences befalling truck drivers. And Global Madness, American style. Cameras mounted in trucks travel the country catching dangerous driving, near fatalities and tragic crashes. And cameras at intersections and train crossings reveal shocking driving behaviour that costs Kiwis their lives. Some of it's hard to believe, some of it's laughable, and some is just plain crazy. Welcome to Road Madness. G'day, I'm Ewen Gilmour. Using the latest in vehicle drive cam technology, real truck drivers simply hit the camera to start filming the mayhem that happens in front of them every day on our roads. Over the past weeks, we've shown you hundreds of videos of shocking driver behaviour. Well, I'm pleased to say they don't all get away with it. Busted! Particularly bad incidents get passed on to the police, and in many cases, the video footage is sufficient evidence for the driver to get prosecuted. Just ask the drivers in these next videos. Our truck is merging on a single-lane expressway when on the right, a boy racer blasts into the lane. Listen to the truckie.
GT is a bloody holding coupe. Narrow.
Trucks are limited to a maximum of 90 kilometres an hour, and we know that this truck was just on that. So what speed was that car doing? At least 120 to 130 k's, well over the speed limit of 100. Busted! 29 kilometres over the limit. That'll be $230, thank you, cha-ching. And here we go, another speeding driver.
Jesus Christ, where's my camera? CEV. You crazy little bastard.
Not only is he speeding, he's also performing a dangerous overtaking manoeuvre. Look how far the oncoming vehicle had to pull over to avoid hitting him. Busted! Here it's motorcycles that are not only speeding, but they're also riding dangerously. Look at this rider with a passenger overtaking while cars are approaching. Look how the oncoming car pulls over to avoid an ugly collision. Caught well and truly. The earliest known speeding fine was issued in England in 1896. Walter Arnold was fined 1 shilling for going 8 miles per hour in a 2 mile per hour zone. And here we are at 5 to 6 in the morning. Our truck is approaching an intersection and is staying in the straight ahead lane.
Whoa!
When this car flies past like a bat out of hell and crosses 3 lanes to turn left.
FKD.
The driver could have achieved the same thing by waiting behind the truck. They would have also avoided being caught on camera. Busted! So they're all cases of speeding or dangerous driving, and the drivers got nailed for it. Unfortunately, that's not the case with these next 2 drivers who should have known better. Bus drivers. It's so bizarre that we've made it this week's What the Truck? Our camera this time is mounted in a car, not a truck, and we're following 2 Auckland buses as they make their way to the airport. We're in an urban area where the speed limit is 50 k's an hour, but that doesn't seem to be an issue for these guys. To our driver, it looks like the bus drivers decide to have a drag race.
Bus 120 and 150 doing 80 k's in a 50 k zone.
Then the bus on the left takes off quickly, pulling away.
Looky. Do I follow him?
No, he didn't follow him because that would have meant going over the speed limit. But it is nuts. Our driver estimates that bus would have been travelling at over 100 k's in a 50 k zone. That is madness. What does our truck driving expert Steve Mitchell think of this incident?
You've got a couple of idiots who've should not be travelling at that speed. It looked like they were racing. They're not going to stop at those speeds. With a heavy vehicle like that, the faster you go, the longer it takes for you to stop. The damage that they could do in an accident situation could be horrendous.
And there are even cases where they go off the road, ploughing into people's homes and commercial buildings. Yep, driving a truck requires a completely different mindset from driving a car because the physics of driving a big vehicle is so different. There's all sorts of weird things to look out for, like the speed wobbles. You can see a car towing a trailer as it travels down the southern motorway, and it looks like it's in trouble. The truckie will do the talking.
Hey, watch this. There he goes again. Here he goes again. Here he goes again. Yeehaw! Now, speed wobbles this freaking on.
It may appear funny at first, but let me tell you, speed wobbles can be fatal. In fact, they're also called death wobbles. They can affect any vehicle with steerable wheels. Cars, motorbikes, cycles, trucks, and even shopping trolleys. At a certain speed, the steering wheels start to shake and shimmy from side to side. In bad cases, the movement spreads to the rest of the vehicle and it becomes uncontrollable. After the break, do these drivers have a death wish? Dangerous overtaking goes mad. And road madness in the USA. Who would believe a bus can fly? And now, do you want a chance to win your own drive cam? To record video evidence if ever you're involved in an accident or to report an incident to the police? Well, here's your chance. Keep watching Road Madness, and at the end of the show, we'll ask you a question and you simply text us the answer to go in the draw to win your very own drive cam and have the chance to film your own Road Madness. We're going to one of our cameras in the United States now for our neck minute moment. That's when something that seems normal suddenly turns into road madness. Check this out. Our camera is in a van, not a truck, as it approaches a T intersection. On the right, a station wagon is slowly making a right-hand turn, and beyond, a station wagon turning left. Neck minute. We think the driver couldn't see our van approaching because of this vehicle creeping around the corner. The van spins twice and ends up back on its wheels, but in a lot worse shape. Listen to the driver.
Oh my God!
Phew is right, perhaps a little bit understated. What you can't see in those images is the female driver who wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Her head and shoulders get pushed out of the open window and she gets thrown back into the vehicle just before the vehicle hits the ground, on her side. Incredibly lucky. We've filmed heaps of people who don't know where to overtake. Quiet suburban streets, blind corners, on the brow of a hill, and all of them got away with it. These next videos show people passing where they shouldn't, on yellow lines. The only difference is they didn't get away with it. Yep, they were all busted by the cops. This truck is going into a corner with solid yellow lines and a painted median strip. Why? Because it's a blind corner and a T intersection. But does that matter to this lunatic? No way.
DPJ overtook on double yellow line.
And as if that wasn't bad enough, it's also he could get into the turning lane that he would have ended up in anyway. That's just crazy. Here the yellow lines are broken, and as they turn solid, this car comes past, no indicating and speeding. The yellow lines are solid because there's an intersection on the left, but this guy didn't care. Very considerate of that car driver to do it right outside the cop shop. Our truck driver didn't have to go far to drop that footage off to the police. Here, the lanes are merging, but the driver of this grey car thinks he can get into a better position on the grid. So instead of merging, he accelerates, going over the median strip and solid yellow lines.
Well, look at this guy. FKP. What a clown. An idiot.
Here we have broken yellow lines heading into roadworks, but this driver ignores both. He overtakes at speed, only to have to brake heavily for the roadworks.
What an idiot.
Indeed. And how stupid is this? There would have been a person standing controlling traffic according to this sign. And here is a shocker. The truck is merged, the yellow lines are solid, and there is oncoming traffic. Perfect conditions for a moron.
Dead P. Fourth.
Look at that. The car only just makes it back into its lane before the van is up and past. That could so easily have resulted in a head-on smash. Speaking of near misses, these next videos will have you wondering how people didn't get killed with such dumb driving. Look at this. A car approaches down a straight when a motorcyclist with a death wish. As you can see, the motorbike just makes it. In this clip, it's almost impossible for the truck driver to see what's happening until it's almost too late. This car only makes it because the oncoming truck pulls over into the shoulder and the median strip is wide. Here we have an overhead view. The two trucks are taking up a fair proportion of the road, but the offending car is determined to get in front of the truck. So it overtakes illegally by using the median strip. You can see how little space there was between the car and both trucks. This next footage is taken from red light cameras and shows a complete disregard for the road rules. Maybe this bus driver is running late and wants to stay on schedule because he isn't going to let a red light slow him down. You can see here the bus doesn't attempt to brake and continues at the same speed. The other cars start across the intersection just as the bus exits. Here's the same intersection, but this time it's night. This roadworks truck should have slowed for the yellow light, but the car on the inside lane definitely had time to stop. Look at that, he's speeding, but you can see the red light cameras flash. Got him. At another intersection at night, and this taxi just sails on through the red light. It's like the driver doesn't even know it's there. There goes the red before he's entered the intersection. And there goes the camera flash. And it's a good thing this pedestrian had made it to the side of the road. Perhaps the most common type of red light running are the sneakers. We've all seen them. They're the drivers who sneak around the corner hoping they won't get pinged. Well, not on this watch. Here, a van sneaks around a corner as other cars start to cross the intersection. A security van does the same thing just down the road. Same intersection, but this time it's a 4x4 being a sneak. And this is a very popular corner for red light running. Perhaps the first car couldn't stop, but the one following definitely could. Look at that, it's just turned red, and see how much space there is for the blue car to pull up? Same corner, but the camera flashes mean this runner has been caught. Smile for the camera, buddy. That'll be $150 and 20 demerit points. Time for our What Happens Next moment. And this video comes from one of our drive cams in America. So it starts out normal enough. A bus with just one passenger on it is slowly making its way around a gentle bend. Suddenly, the driver starts to scream. After the break, find out what happened next. And the weird things that appear on our roads at night. When we left you, we had a bus driver that was getting pretty excited about something. Well, let's find out what happened next. So it starts out normal enough. A bus with a female driver and carrying just one passenger slowly makes its way around a gentle bend. We pass a man mowing the lawns. It's a peaceful looking setting. Suddenly, all hell breaks loose. The bus doesn't take the corner and ploughs up a small bank towards a car park. Hold on, we're getting airborne.
Oh my God!
Look at the internal view. It's chaos. You can see the driver's hand furiously turning the steering wheel. And the impact of the bus hitting the curb is probably what throws the passenger from his seat. Incredibly, the bus cleared the first line of parked cars and landed on the other side. And look out the back windows. You can see the parked cars in the background. The cause of this crash wasn't the fault of the driver. There was a mechanical failure with the steering, so the driver had absolutely no control over where the bus was going. The response of the passenger is also interesting.
Oh my God!
Can you please let me out? Please let me out.
He looks all right, doesn't he? Maybe a bit shaken, but able to walk off the bus. Well, there is an interesting development with this particular passenger that our truck cam suppliers, IVCS, will fill us in on.
The passenger on the bus was attempting to sue the bus company for breaking his leg during the accident, when clearly when we look at the video, we can see that he was walking around perfectly fine, and he in fact broke his leg as he jumped out of the bus while it was perched on top of a couple of upturned cars. So it was really his fault.
Now let's take a look at some more dangerous Kiwi drivers that were caught by our truck cams, and they copped a fine or worse. From our classic collection of late mergers, talk about the last minute.
Oh, nice. Hey, you.
The oncoming van had almost completely passed before the car had made it back into its lane.
Here we are getting to the end of dual passing lanes. Then the black car shoots in front, but that's not the problem vehicle. Look how this driver squeezes in at the last minute, and the oncoming ute towing a trailer has to pull over to make way.
Here, a truck is on a straight, approaching a blind corner.
God, what a clown.
If the oncoming driver hadn't have pulled over onto the shoulder, one or both cars would have been history. Here's another speeding driver making what could easily have been a fatal decision to pass. Look at the size of that truck. It's a truck and trailer unit carrying gravel. You don't get much heavier than that. What an idiot. Which is pretty much what our truck driver thought in his own special way. Sums it up perfectly. Again, it was the oncoming driver that prevented a head-on.
Same story in this clip. Our truck driver's approaching a blind corner, but then sees a lunatic trying to overtake. Again, it looks like our truck driver and the oncoming truck driver both pulled over to their left. Over to you, Steve. What's your verdict on the driver of that car?
He obviously did not take into fact that he's supposed to have 100 metres of clear road throughout the whole overtaking manoeuvre. He only just made it, and I would have presumed that the truck driver backed off. If he hadn't have backed off, the chances of him having a head-on collision with that truck were very, very close.
Now for the weird and the wonderful. Every now and then you come across something on our roads that just leaves you speechless. This truckie is parked up for a good reason when a car comes flying past. The driver has to brake suddenly because, yep, that's a house coming down the road.
And you can see the house truck snaking all over the road because it has to pull up suddenly. The car driver's lucky he didn't end up with a house on top of him. And what about this for an out-of-the-blue, totally weird mine truck? We're driving up a logging road.
Now!
Good thing it didn't happen a few seconds later, or it would have hit the truck. And I'll bet you're thinking, wow, That was 1 in a million. Well, think again. This time it's a public road through a forest. The truck has hit the tree. And at that speed, it must have done some damage to the front of the truck. In one of our earlier episodes, we ran this video and told you that the driver of the offending second vehicle had driven off without stopping. Well, it turns out he had done the right thing and exchanged details with the driver. So, sorry mate, we got that wrong.
And now's your chance to win your very own drive cam and become part of Road Madness. Simply text us the answer to this question and go in the draw. Earlier, we asked what happened next in this video. A bus with just the driver and one passenger on it slowly makes its way around a bend. Suddenly, the female driver starts to scream and she appears to have lost control of the bus and it veers off the road and into a car park. So what caused the accident? Was it A, the bus driver was distracted, B, a steering failure, or C, an out-of-control passenger? Text either A, B or C to the number you see below and go in the draw to win your very own drive cam. And I'll see you next week for more Road Madness. Next week on Road Madness, cyclists with a death wish, boy racers playing with people's lives, and a crash where the median barrier doesn't protect oncoming vehicles.